Lowe's knows that no matter your paint project, saving is at the top of your list. That's why when you shop today, you can buy one, get one free select Valspar and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams one-coat coverage interior paints via rebate. Shop these deals in-store or online today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Offer valid 8/21 through 9/3.
It's October 24, 1593. Gil Pérez, a Spanish soldier stationed at the governor's palace in Manila, is going about his usual duties. Everything seems ordinary until in the blink of an eye, he finds himself in Plaza Mayor, the bustling central square of Mexico City, over 9,000 miles away. Bewildered and disoriented, Pérez has no idea how he ended up there. This is where our journey begins. Hello, curious minds! Welcome back to the LilWeird Podcast. I'm your host, Jane, and today we're diving into one of the most perplexing and enigmatic tales from the annals of history. Get ready to travel back in time to the year 1593, when a man named Gil Pérez supposedly teleported from Manila in the Philippines all the way to Mexico City, defying all known laws of physics and logic. This story is not just a mind-bending journey through time and space. It's a captivating blend of historical mystery, paranormal speculation, and pure intrigue. So, buckle up because we're about to unravel the fascinating tale of Gil Pérez and his unbelievable journey across the globe. But before we dive into this teleportation mystery, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow the LilWeird Podcast on all your favorite platforms. If you enjoyed these bizarre and intriguing stories, leave us a review and share the weirdness with your friends. Now, let's get started. Before we delve deeper into Gil Pérez's story, let's take a moment to understand the concept of teleportation. Teleportation, in its simplest form, is the hypothetical transfer of matter or energy from one point to another without traversing the physical space between them. Imagine stepping into a machine in one room and instantaneously appearing in another room miles away. That's teleportation. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this just science fiction? And you're right. Teleportation is a staple of sci-fi literature, movies, and TV shows. Think of Star Trek and their iconic beam-me-up scenes. However, the idea of teleportation isn't just confined to fiction. Over the years, there have been several mysterious cases and intriguing stories that suggest the possibility of teleportation in real life. Let's explore a few of these famous cases. One of the most famous teleportation stories is the Philadelphia experiment. This alleged military experiment took place in 1943 during World War II. According to the legend, the USS Eldridge, a naval destroyer escort, was rendered invisible or cloaked to enemy devices. But something went horribly wrong, and the ship supposedly teleported from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia, and back again. The crew reportedly suffered severe side effects, including disorientation, mental illness, and some even fused with the ship's structure. While many consider this story a hoax, it has fascinated conspiracy theories and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. Another intriguing case is the teleportation of the French diplomat Benjamin Bathurst in 1809. Bathurst was traveling through Germany during the Napoleonic Wars when he mysteriously vanished without a trace. He was last seen inspecting his horses, and within moments, he was gone. Despite extensive searches, no concrete evidence of his whereabouts was ever found, leading some to speculate that he might have teleported to another location or even another dimension. Then there's the tale of David Lang, a Tennessee farmer who allegedly vanished into thin air in 1880. According to witnesses, including his wife and 2 children, Lang was walking across a field near his home when he suddenly disappeared in front of their eyes. Despite a thorough search, Lang was never found. Years later, his children claimed to hear their father's voice calling for help from the spot where he vanished, further deepening the mystery. These stories, whether true or not, capture our imagination and challenge our understanding of reality. They make us question what we know about the world and ponder the possibility of phenomena beyond our comprehension. So, as we delve back into the story of Gil Pérez, let's keep our minds open to the mysteries and marvels that our world might hold. So, back to Gil Pérez. Remember, it's 1593, and Gil finds himself in Mexico City completely baffled by his sudden relocation. How did he get there? What happened next? And most importantly, could this be a genuine case of teleportation? Let's unravel the mystery piece by piece. When Gil Pérez appeared in Plaza Mayor, he was dressed in the uniform of the guards of the governor's palace in Manila. Naturally, his sudden appearance and unfamiliar attire drew the attention of the local authorities. When questioned, Pérez explained that he had no idea how he ended up in Mexico City. The last thing he remembered was standing guard at the governor's palace in Manila on the evening of October 23, 1593. At first, the authorities were skeptical and suspected him of desertion or espionage. However, his detailed knowledge of the governor's palace in Manila and the events unfolding there added a layer of credibility to his story. He even mentioned the recent assassination of the governor of the Philippines, Gomez Perez Dasmariñas, which was news that had not yet reached Mexico by conventional means. Suspicious of his story, the authorities imprisoned him on charges of desertion and possibly being in league with the devil. While they kept Pérez under close observation, they awaited confirmation of his story from the Philippines. Months later, a Manila galleon arrived in Mexico, bringing news that corroborated Pérez's account, including details about the governor's assassination. Some crew members even recognized Pérez and confirmed that they had seen him in Manila on the day of the assassination. This remarkable coincidence lent significant weight to Pérez's account. Faced with this extraordinary evidence, the authorities had no choice but to release Gil Pérez. He was eventually sent back to the Philippines to resume his duties. Despite the official verification of his story, the case of Gil Pérez remained shrouded in mystery. Was it a miraculous case of teleportation, or could there have been another more mundane explanation? Some theories suggest that Pérez might have experienced a form of spontaneous bilocation, where a person is simultaneously present in two locations. Others propose that it was an elaborate hoax or a case of mistaken identity. Now, let's dive into the details of this story and try to investigate further. Is the tale of Gil Pérez's mysterious teleportation a myth, or could there be some truth to it? To start, let's look at the written accounts and other research materials that have kept this story alive for centuries. The story of Gil Pérez was first documented by Fray Gaspar de San Agustín in 1698. Fray Gaspar was a Spanish historian and missionary who recorded many events of the time. According to his account, Pérez's teleportation was seen as an act of the devil facilitated by individuals with supernatural abilities. Fray Gaspar's account continues, detailing how Gil Pérez was found walking back and forth with a gun on his shoulder, wearing the uniform of the guard of the governor's palace in Manila. It was evident from his sturdy and bold carriage that he was an experienced soldier, but he looked dazed and amazed, staring around like a man lost. When questioned by the captain of the guard, Pérez saluted and explained,
"My name is Gil Pérez. As to standing sentry here, I am doing as nearly as possible what I was ordered to do. I was ordered this morning to mount guard at the doors of the governor's palace in Manila. I know very well that this is not the governor's palace, and evidently I am not in Manila. Why or how that may be, I know not. But here I am, and this is a palace of some kind, so I am doing my duty as nearly as possible."
The captain, astonished by this extraordinary statement, was even more shocked when Pérez remarked,
"Last night, the governor of the Filipinas, His Excellency Don Gomez Perez Dasmariñas, had his head cracked with an axe in the Moluccas, and is dead of it."
Pérez was taken before the Viceroy Don Luis de Velasco and his council, where he was examined thoroughly. Pérez correctly answered all questions about his regiment, the people and affairs in the Philippines, and the city of Manila. However, he could not explain how he had been transported from Manila to Mexico City or how he knew about the governor's assassination. The viceroy and his council suspected the involvement of the devil and handed Pérez over the Holy Office of the Inquisition, where he was locked in the strongest cell in Santo Domingo. Despite rigorous questioning, Pérez's testimony remained consistent. The inquisitors, realizing they could not prove his guilt, treated him with more leniency. Months later, a galleon arrived from the Philippines confirming the assassination of Governor Dasmariñas on the night of October 24, 1593, just as Pérez had said. Moreover, a passenger on the galleon, an officer of the soldiery in Manila, recognized Pérez and confirmed seeing him on guard in Manila the day before he appeared in Mexico. This remarkable confirmation led to the authorities in Mexico releasing Pérez and deciding to send him back to the Philippines. Examining these historical accounts, including those of Fray Gaspar de San Agustín, we see a story deeply rooted in the beliefs and superstitions of the time. The involvement of the Holy Office of the Inquisition and the supernatural explanations highlight how unexplained phenomena were often attributed to the devil or other mystical forces. Is it possible that Pérez experienced some form of spontaneous bilocation, or was it an elaborate hoax? Could there have been another explanation entirely, perhaps involving psychological factors or a case of mistaken identity? The truth remains elusive, but the enduring mystery of Gil Pérez continues to captivate and inspire curiosity. In contemporary times, teleportation is often explored in the context of quantum mechanics and theoretical physics. Scientists have successfully demonstrated quantum teleportation, a process where the quantum state of a particle is transmitted from one location to another, effectively recreating the particle at the destination. This process relies on the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where two particles become intertwined in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of the other, regardless of the distance. While quantum teleportation is a groundbreaking achievement, it differs significantly from the instantaneous travel depicted in science fiction. The process currently only applies to the smallest particles and requires complex equipment and precise conditions. Extending this concept to larger objects, let alone humans, involves insurmountable technical and theoretical challenges. One of the most significant breakthroughs in this field occurred in 1997 when physicists at the University of Innsbruck successfully teleported a photon over a distance of 7 kilometers. While this form of teleportation is far from the science fiction dream of instantaneously transporting humans, it marks a profound step in understanding the fundamentals of quantum mechanics and the potential for future technological advancements. Science fiction has long embraced the teleportation as a convenient and exciting plot device. From Star Trek's iconic transporters to the magical portals in fantasy novels, teleportation allows characters to traverse vast distances instantaneously, bypassing the limitations of time and space. These imaginative portrayals often explore the potential benefits, such as rapid travel and emergency evacuations, alongside the risks, including errors in transmission and ethical dilemmas. Teleportation is also a topic of interest in paranormal research and psychology. Some theories suggest that human consciousness might possess latent abilities for telekinesis or astral projection, enabling a form of mental teleportation. While these ideas lack empirical support, they highlight the deep-seated human fascination with transcending physical limitations and exploring the unknown capabilities of the mind. In many spiritual traditions, teleportation is viewed as a manifestation of divine intervention or supernatural power. For instance, in Hindu mythology, sages and saints are often depicted as having the ability to teleport through their mastery of spiritual practices and deep meditation. One such figure is Swami Vivekananda, a 19th century Indian monk who was said to have appeared in multiple places simultaneously to deliver lectures and aid his followers. Similarly, in Christian tradition, there are accounts of saints who were said to have bilocated, appearing in two places at once through divine will. Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, also known as Padre Pio, is one of the most famous examples. Numerous witnesses reported seeing him in different locations at the same time, performing acts of charity and attending to the spiritual needs of his followers. This phenomenon of bilocation as seen with Padre Pio is a fascinating concept. Bilocation refers to the ability to be present in two different places simultaneously. Unlike teleportation, which involves instantaneously moving from one location to another, bilocation means that an individual can exist in two places at the same time. While teleportation is often depicted in science fiction and involves a physical relocation, bilocation is generally associated with mystical and religious experiences. In the case of Padre Pio, many believe that his bilocation was a miraculous sign of his deep spiritual connection and divine mission. Witnesses reported seeing him ministering to the sick in one place while simultaneously attending Mass or performing other duties in another location. In the Islamic tradition, there are stories of Sufi mystics who experienced miraculous journeys. One notable example is the 8th century Sufi saint, Rabia al-Adawiyya. She was believed to have appeared in distant places to spread her teachings and offer guidance to those in need. These spiritual narratives highlight the belief that the material world is not the only reality, and that higher states of consciousness or divine intervention can transcend the physical limitations we experience. Despite the allure of teleportation, significant skepticism remains. Most historical and modern accounts are anecdotal and lack verifiable evidence. The scientific challenges are immense, involving the precise manipulation of vast amounts of information and energy. Additionally, the implications for identity and continuity of consciousness raise profound philosophical questions. If a person were to be teleported by reconstructing their atoms at a new location, would the original consciousness be preserved, or would a new identical consciousness emerge? Historians have investigated the story of Gil Pérez and generally consider it more legend than fact, suggesting that the tale likely emerged and spread as an exaggerated rumor during a time when communication was slow and unreliable. Folklorists remind us that such stories often start with kernels of truth but get embellished over time, becoming metaphors or allegories rather than literal events. In many cultures, similar stories exist where people mysteriously travel great distances in impossibly short times. From a scientific perspective, physicists propose more mundane explanations, such as Pérez experiencing a psychological breakdown or being an imaginative storyteller. The later confirmation of the assassination he spoke of could simply be a coincidence. Without concrete evidence, we remain in the realm of speculation. As we conclude this exploration, it's clear that teleportation, whether real or imagined, captivates our curiosity and challenges our perceptions of reality. It encourages us to think beyond the boundaries of what we know and to remain open to the possibilities that the universe might hold. Imagine for a moment the potential that lies within these mysteries. Could there be an untapped abilities within us, or hidden dimensions waiting to be discovered? The story of Gil Pérez and the accounts of bilocation remind us that the world is filled with wonders that defy explanation. Whether these phenomena are products of the mind, divine intervention, or undiscovered science, they continue to inspire and intrigue us. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the mysterious world of teleportation and the incredible story of Gil Pérez. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the LilWeird Podcast and share it with your fellow curious minds. And remember, the world is full of strange and unexplained phenomena just waiting to be explored. Do you have a bizarre story or an unsolved mystery you'd like me to delve into? Reach out to me on social media or leave a comment. Who knows, your suggestion might be the next topic I uncover on this quest for the weird and wonderful. Stay weird, stay curious, and stay tuned for more on LilWeird Podcast. Thanks for listening.